Namaste, welcome to Hatha Yoga, everyone. My name is Michelle Chua. For this practice, you'll want to have 2 yoga blocks or pillows or anything you can use that look somewhat that shape, and a strap or some kind of rope. And I'm going to actually invite you to begin in a posture, since we had a request from our live community here to help relieve tension in the shoulders, to come into supported fish pose, which is a restorative posture. So grab a block by the tallest height, place it at the rear edge of your mat like this. And if you don't have a block, you can use a pillow or something that's sort of the shape or height. And then get your second block and place it on the medium height like this, the second level, and let it cross the mat so that your blocks are spaced apart about 5 to 6 inches, and you'll know how to adjust them when you come into the posture. If you don't have blocks at all, you could instead take a blanket and roll it up like a cylinder pillow, nice and firm and smooth, and trace your mat across with that instead and not use any block at all. So I'll show you if you have the blanket instead. But for the blocks, begin with your pelvis on the floor, sitting down. Either let the legs splay apart or bend the knees apart to start opening the hips. Do what's comfortable with the legs. And then lie back slowly so that the area that is right underneath the bottom tips of your shoulder blades lands on top of the closer block. So the purpose of it is to lift the chest and let the shoulders roll down. And then the back of your skull lands on the furthest block like this. And then you'll want to adjust anyway so that you can feel a sense of symmetry and dropping the shoulders down and away from the neck. Turn the palms up by your sides. And those of you that don't have blocks, but you do have a rolled up blanket, you can use that blanket to trace the area that is right under the shoulder blades, and just let your head rest on the ground so your shoulders are rolled off of the rolled blanket. Then take a moment here to literally ground, to feel how gravity is drawing you so lovingly towards the center of the earth, inviting a sense of belonging to Mother Earth. Sense the weight of your body on the ground and on any props that are holding your body. And let yourself feel held by the earth. You might close your eyes and start to sense any sensations that you're experiencing in your body right now. And this includes sensations of tension or stiffness. Welcome all sensations to be aware of. In the practice of mindfulness, important is non-judgment. We're letting go of the need to label anything as right, wrong, good, bad, transcending that concept of duality, just being with what is. And then bring awareness to the breath without changing the way that you're breathing. Notice anything you can feel about the breath moving through your body. The breath is always letting us know what our energy is like. So how do you feel right now energetically? And then observe your mind. What kinds of thoughts have you been focusing on today? And how is that affecting the way you feel emotionally? And so we begin the practice by checking in with these different layers of our being, practicing mindfulness and acceptance of what is present for us. So let's start to deepen the breath. Let the inhale a little slower enter the lungs. And then out through the lips, maybe even make a sound. You could sigh it out. A little deeper, a little slower, inhaling through the nose. Maybe even let the belly expand. And then once again, out through the mouth, draw it out. Find the very bottom of the breath when you've emptied the lungs. And just like that, continue to deepen your breath on your own. And I'd like to share about the first limb of the 8 limbs of yoga today. The first limb is called the yamas. They are ways that we can live in harmony with the world around us. Some people look at them as ethics. And in the first limb of yoga, there are 5 practices. Today, I want to highlight one of the practices, and it's called Asteya. Asteya is a Sanskrit word that's often translated to mean non-stealing, but encompasses all the attitudes around wanting to steal from somebody else, whether it's stealing a possession they have or stealing an idea that they have and not giving them credit, all kinds of stealing. But it also is that attitude that brings us to want to steal, which is envy or jealousy or the idea of lack. So an antidote to Asteya, to help us cultivate the attitude of non-stealing, is to remember how much we are experiencing well-being in the present moment. Even if you're having some kind of pain in your body right now, what areas of your body actually don't feel pain? What areas in your life can you actually feel a sense of contentment in? What aspects of your different relationships have you found fruitful and supportive? So the practice of gratitude is something that we can cultivate regularly, every day, throughout the day. And it only strengthens our ability to let go of any need to want to grasp for something else, but find our seat in the world of abundance and infinite possibilities that we are a part of, that reminds us that there's enough for everyone. And each other's thriving only contributes to our collective thriving. So learning to celebrate each other's successes and wealth. And so with that, what is your intention for your practice today? Through the lens of appreciating in the ways that you're already blessed, what would you like to invite in? Take a moment to clarify as we begin. And in the grace of gratitude, we find generosity. In practice of that, I invite you to choose somebody or a community that you would like to offer your practice to today, a way of making a dedication of your efforts beyond our individual selves. And continue to deepen the breath. Start to turn over to one side or very slowly come forward so you can rock up to sit. Find the easiest way to sit upright, maybe joining your hands in prayer at your heart center as we open our practice, creating resonance with that feeling tone of gratitude. Let's chant together 3 ohms. A loud deep breath in. So let's continue to breathe mindfully. Slow, even length breaths in and out. And a way to also evoke focus mentally and calmness mentally and physically is a practice called Ujjayi Pranayama, or victorious breathing. And it's done by closing the lips as you breathe slowly and gently narrowing the back of your throat so that you're creating a very soft and smooth whispering sound, something very quiet, so that listening to it entails really paying attention to the present moment. So listen to a few cycles of that breathing now as you're sitting still, and see if you can keep that same slow, even rhythm going when we move the body and pace it to that rhythm of breath. And so with that, please start to make your way onto your hands and knees, all fours. And we'll start to move to the breath really slow. So let the breath initiate and culminate each part of the movement. Spread your fingers wide and flat. Stack your shoulders above your wrists. Step your knees a couple inches behind your hips. Now, breathing in, glide your torso forward and coil your chest up. Dropping the shoulders back, look up. Breathing out, contract your abdomen. Keep the arms straight as you drop the head and round your back. Again, inhale, glide your chest forward. Roll the shoulders behind you, lifting your gaze, cow pose. Exhale, lift your navel. Let the tailbone and head slowly drop into cat pose. And on your own, take another 3 cycles slowly to your breath of cat-cow pose, or Betalasana. Notice if you can still hear that gentle whisper in your breath. At the end of your next exhalation, with palms really flat, fingers spread wide, tuck your toes and lift your hips high and back, entering downward facing dog. Spend the first few breaths moving your body any way it needs to move to loosen up. I like to pedal my feet slowly in place while swiveling the hips side to side. Helps us stretch the hamstrings, the calves, and even the outer hips and lower back. You might even softly shake your head, nod your head a few times to really relax the neck. Sense the breath, keep it going. And as you press the hands down, lift the shoulders and hips high and back. Let your head hang free. Now you could bend the knees as well if that allows you to feel more length in your spine where you're not rounding your shoulders or back. Press your chest towards your shins and firm your belly inward towards your back. And then let the heels become heavier, even if they don't touch the ground. Now let go of moving and invite stillness in your body as you steady your gaze on one spot. Tuning into 3 more breaths. In Sanskrit, this pose is called Adho Mukha Svanasana. When you've completed the 3rd exhalation, holding your breath out, walk or lightly jump to the top of your mat into a standing forward fold. Separate the feet hips distance or wider apart and parallel your second toes to each other. Bend your knees generously where you can easily drop the head and relax the spine, not feeling much tension in the back. Reach the hands behind you and either hold a strap between your hands or interlace your fingers. As you breathe in, shift your weight forward and inhale, lift your chest, lengthen your spine forward. As you breathe out, keep the hands clasped or hold a strap and let the head fall. Bowing in, stretch your arms further away from your lower back to open up the front of your shoulders. You might even shake and nod the head a few times here to really relax the neck. Listen to about 3 more deep breaths in this version of Uttanasana. Now, you might like to have blocks in front of your feet so that when we press our hands down for half forward fold, you can press into the blocks if the ground is too low. You can also press your shins. So plant your fingertips on your shins, blocks, or the floor. As you inhale to lengthen your spine forward, draw the shoulders back, engage your belly in. Half forward fold. Exhale, fold towards your legs. You might keep the knees a little bent here. Inhale again, press with your hands. Lengthen the top of your head forward. Shoulders back, weight forward. Exhale, forward fold. One more time, so we're connecting movement to breath. Press with your hands. Inhale, lengthen your spine forward. Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, bow, Uttanasana. This time, press to your feet and inhale, slowly rise to stand, raising your arms overhead. Roll your shoulders back and down and gently coil your chest up as you gaze up. Then exhale as you join your palms in prayer from your crown to your heart center, standing in mountain pose with hands in prayer, Padasana. So we're going to start to move to the breath in sun salutation C, Surya Namaskar C. So we're saluting the sun. It's a form of gratitude for this great source of energy for all living beings on this planet. But also when we join the hands in prayer to the heart, I like to think of it as saluting the source that flows through all of us. So with that, let's move slowly. Listen to the breath. Empty this one. As you inhale, sweep your arms forward and roll your shoulders back again, Urdhva Hastasana. As you exhale, feel free to bend the knees, bow over your legs. Plant your fingertips on the ground outside of your heels. Inhale, step your left knee behind you into a kneeling lunge. Look up. Now holding your breath, step into your version of plank pose, legs straight or knees on the ground. As you exhale, slowly lower your knees, chest, then chin in Ashtangasana. As you inhale, slither your belly forward onto the floor and gently coil your chest up to Cobra. As you exhale, tuck your toes and lift your hips back to downward facing dog. Breathing in, step your left foot forward beside your left thumb. Lower your right knee and gaze up. Breathing out, step your right foot forward and bow. Inhale, press through your feet and rise all the way up to stand, gently lifting the heart towards the sun. Exhale, join your palms in prayer at your hearts. Let's take the sequence one more time on the second side. Inhale, sweep the arms up, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, fold forward, Uttanasana. Plant your fingertips on the earth. Inhale, step right knee back, look up, Anjaneyasana. Holding your breath, step into your version of plank. Exhale, Ashtangasana, lower knees, chest, then chin, sticking the tailbone up. Inhale, Cobra, slither to the ground, roll the shoulders back as you press the tops of your feet into the earth. Exhale, downward facing dog, hips back. Inhale, step your right foot beside your right thumb. Lower your left knee, look up. Exhale, step your left foot forward and bow. Inhale, press to your feet, rise all the way up. Exhale, join your palms to your heart. One slow breath. Listen in. We're going to move into sun salutation A, so keep the breath slowly going. Inhale, sweep the arms up, gently coil your chest up. Exhale, bow over your legs. This time, press your hands on your shins, blocks, or the floor, and inhale, lengthen forward to half forward fold. Step into your version of plank. Let's pause there for a few breaths. Stacking your shoulders over your wrists, engage the belly in. Lengthen your neck, look on the floor ahead of the thumbs. If your legs are straight, firm your inner heels back, activate the muscles in your legs. Otherwise, knees on the ground, right under the hips. Now with a slow exhalation, glide forward as far as you can before bending your elbows 90 degrees so they touch your side ribs, Chaturanga Dandasana. Lower all the way for cobra, or flip the toes here, going deeper into your back bend in upward facing dog. Exhale, lift your hips back to downward facing dog. Now let's cultivate stillness in this pose as you tune into 3 deep breaths. When you've emptied the third, walk or lightly jump to the top of your mat, forward fold. Press with your hands, inhale, half forward fold, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold, Uttanasana. Root down, inhale, rise up, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, hands to your heart, Padasana. Now let's take the same sequence in a more continuous flow. Slow the breath down. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, bow forward. Press with your fingertips. Inhale, lengthen your spine forward. Step back to plank and continue as you exhale to glide forward. Raise your elbows by your ribs. Lower through Chaturanga. Then choose cobra or upward facing dog as you breathe in. Exhale to downward facing dog. Cultivating stillness with a steady gaze as you rebalance 3 breaths. When you've emptied the third, stay here and step your feet together to touch. We're gonna add on. Press down with your hands and inhale, raise your right leg behind you. As you exhale, bend your right knee and turn out your right thigh at the hip. Stay there and inhale, tack your left outer hip back. Now as you exhale, contract your abdomen, rounding into plank, bend the right knee towards your nose. Stack the shoulders over your wrists and see if you can quietly land the right foot in between your hands. Spin your left heel down. Align your right heel to intersect the arch of your left foot. You might want to have a block just to the right side of your right shin here. Cartwheel your arms and inhale to rise up to stand in Warrior 2. So in this wide stance, your ankles are pretty much right under your wrists. As you bend your right knee directly above your right ankle, making sure not to go past the ankle, firm the outer edge of your left foot into the earth. You're turning out your right leg here by wrapping your right outer hip underneath you enough so that your right kneecap points towards your right pinky toe. At the same time, you want to keep the pelvic bowl upright. So firm the top of your left thigh bone back and let your shoulders stack right above your hips. Long spine, shoulders relaxed. Steady your gaze on one spot just in front of your right hand, or close your eyes. Now tune into 4 more even breaths in Virabhadrasana 2. Keep your feet as they are and inhale, straighten your right leg for triangle. Glide your hips towards the rear wall. Lengthen your torso towards your front wall. Place your right hand down on your right shin, or the block on the right side of your right shin, or the ground itself, but make sure that you're lowering the right hand only to the degree where your feet can feel heavier than your right hand. You're not collapsing into your right side. Sense the quality of your breath. That always gives a clue if you're overexerting, underexerting, or approaching with balance. So as you stack your shoulders and wrists, opening the arms like one straight line, lengthen the crown of your head forward towards your front wall. Spin your chest slightly to face up. Find one focal point to steady your eyes on for another 4 breaths here in Trikonasana. So you might know that this posture, besides opening the hamstrings and hips and the sides of your torso, also helps open up the shoulders, especially as you're spreading the arms wide open and spinning the chest up. Now look just in front of your right foot. We're going to practice balance in half moon. Steady your gaze just in front of the right foot and keep breathing calmly. Walk your right hand forward about 6 inches ahead of your right pinky toe on a block or the floor, and move it over to the right corner. Drag your left foot in, flex your left foot so your balance helps to feel steady, and recreate the shape of triangle pose on one leg here. Turn your chest to face your left wall, stack your shoulders over your right wrist, and tack the crease of your right hip back towards your lifted heel. As you lengthen your crown forward, another 4 more deep breaths in Ardha Chandrasana, half moon pose. Now bending your right knee, look down ahead of your right foot and very gently step your left foot back to the ground at the rear of your mat, re-entering Warrior Two. From Warrior Two, flip your right palm to face up, keep your right knee bent, and inhale, lift your spine and side bend towards your rear wall, Peaceful Warrior. Exhale, cartwheel your hands to the floor, step into plank pose. Choose to enter a vinyasa or cat-cow or child's pose, or go right into downward facing dog. So notice what your energy level is and honor that. Eventually, when you arrive in downward facing, tune into 3 slow, even breaths. Sense how regulating your breath calmly and sustained affects your mind, your nervous system. It's a huge part of the yoga practice. Now, as you root down to your hands, step your feet together in downward dog. And then inhale, raise your left leg behind you. Exhale, bend your left knee and turn out your thigh at the hip. Stay there and inhale, tack your right outer hip back. Contracting your belly, exhale, round forward into plank. Bend your left knee high towards your nose so that you can gently land the foot right between your hands and spin the right heel down. Align your left heel to intersect the arch of your right foot, then press through your feet and inhale, windmill your arms apart, standing in Warrior Two. And right away, land your gaze on one focal point just past your left hand. Come back to calm, conscious breathing. Bending your left knee right on top of your left heel. Firm the outer edge of your right foot into the earth. Wrapping your left outer hip beneath you, splay your left thigh open so the knee points towards your pinky toe. At the same time, balance out your pelvis by firming the top of your right thigh bone back. Lengthen your spine as you stack the shoulders right above your hips, relaxing the shoulders down. Another 4 breaths in Virabhadrasana 2. Let's prepare for triangle pose. Keep your feet as they are, straighten your left leg. Glide your hips towards your rear wall as you lengthen your torso towards your front wall. Plant your left fingertips lightly on your left shin, a block just to the left of the shin, or on the ground itself. Remember, try to keep your left hand light so you're putting more weight on your feet than your left hand. As you stack your shoulders and wrists like one straight line, glide your shoulder blades both down your back ribs as you lengthen the top of your head forward. How's the breath here? Spin your chest slightly to face the sky as you land your gaze on one point. Let's listen to another 4 slow breaths. Trikonasana. Now, the shape you're creating in your body right now is the blueprint for the next posture, half moon pose. Look at the ground in front of your left foot. Keep steadying your breathing. Take your time planting your left fingertips about 6 inches ahead of your left pinky toe out to the left, maybe on a block. Drag your right foot forward and flex it so that you're engaging the muscles in your lifted leg. Turn your chest to face the right wall. Restack your shoulders over your left wrist. Ardha Chandrasana. 4 more breaths. Now take your time to very gently step into Warrior Two again. Right foot lands at the rear of your mat. Left knee stays bent. Flip the left palm to face up. Inhale into Peaceful Warrior, side bending towards your rear wall. Exhale, cartwheel your hands to the floor and choose with your energy level now. Do you need to flow? Take a moment to rest. We'll meet in Downward Facing Dog. We know that yoga is not a one-size-fits-all practice. That's why there's so many variations of every posture and movement. It's really about using your wise, honest discernment to choose the variations that suit your body and are aligned to your intention. So allow a couple of breaths and check in. How is your body feeling right now? If you're ready to keep moving, walk or float to the front of your mat into a forward fold. Then inhale, lengthen to half forward fold. Exhale, fold again. Inhale, rise all the way up. And exhale, join your hands in prayer at your heart. We're gonna move into a slower version of sun salutation, be pausing along the way. So bring the inner edges of your big toes to touch, feet together, and empty this breath. As you inhale, bend your knees together to touch and sit back towards your heels in chair pose, Utkatasana. We're gonna be here for a few breaths. So we had a request to strengthen the muscles around the knees. Here's one posture, but you wanna make sure that you glide your shin bones back where you could see your toes from where you are. And that as you're dropping the hips back, you're not overarching the lower back, you're firming in the belly, relaxing the shoulders. 2 more breaths here in Utkatasana, maybe sit a little lower. On your next exhalation, shift your weight forward and hinge from your hips, Uttanasana. Press down with your hands and inhale to Ardha Uttanasana, half forward fold. Step into plank. Exhale to lower into your vinyasa. Take it all the way on your own pace of breath. Now, when you arrive in Downward Facing Dog, start with your feet hips distance apart and try to keep your left and right hips balanced in height as you inhale to raise your right leg behind you. As you exhale, softly step your right foot forward beside your right thumb. Spin your left heel down so your feet are about hips width apart. Keep your hips facing forward and inhale, rise up to stand in Warrior One. We're gonna be here for a few breaths. So as you are bending your right knee directly over your right heel, draw your right outer hip back. Keep that, and as you're straightening your left leg, press your outer left heel firmly into the earth and spin your left outer hip forward. Slightly lift your frontal hip bones. as you direct your tailbone down and lift up through the back of your skull, relaxing your shoulders down. Now try to keep your 2 hips facing forward as we enter humble warrior, also called devotional warrior. This one helps to open up the shoulders. So bring the hands behind you and either interlace your fingers, or if it makes it more accessible, grab a strap and space the hands apart, holding the strap. Keep your front knee bent. Inhale, roll your shoulders down and look up. Take your time, several breaths, begin to bow forward, either on top of your right thigh or on the inside of your leg. But keep scissoring your right hip back. Keep rotating your left outer hip forward and use the weight of your back foot to counterbalance your weight forward. So arms stretching away from the lower back. Soften the neck, soften the jaw. Last 3 breaths here. Lower your hands to the floor. Optional to flow through a vinyasa or cat-cow. Let's meet in downward facing dog. In downward dog, start with your feet hips distance apart and try to keep your 2 hips leveled in height as you inhale to raise your left leg back. Exhale, gently step the foot forward beside your left thumb and spin your right heel down. Keep your hips facing forward. Inhale, rise up into Virabhadrasana 1. So this time, bring your hands to your hips. Notice if your hips might be facing the right wall a bit. Try to direct both hips to evenly face forward. If it's hard to do with your stance, you can widen your feet sideways a bit more. Step the right foot to the right, pivot the toes to face more forward. Make that adjustment if you need. Bend the front knee, right on top of the ankle. Straighten the right leg, press the outer heel down. And then notice if the pelvic bowl is spilling forward, creating an overarching compression in the lower back. If so, really be mindful to pull up the frontal hip bones. You're engaging the lower abdomen. Direct the tailbone down and continue lengthening through the top of your head. Couple more breaths here. Let's prepare for humble warrior. Keep the shape of your legs, back stroke your arms, clasp your hands, or hold a strap. Drop the shoulders down as you breathe in to coil your chest up. Take your time bowing forward, resting on your left thigh or inside of the leg. Continue scissoring your left hip back and rotating your right outer hip to face forward. And then let your head just be heavy. What would it feel like to completely relax your neck, your jaw, your eyes? 3 more breaths. Take your time lowering to plank and choose flow or no flow. We'll meet in downward facing dog. Few deep breaths here. From downward dog, inhale, come forward to plank again. This time, slow motion, really controlled. Use your core muscles around the torso to pass through Chaturanga Dandasana. Maybe pause there and then lower entirely to the floor. Once you've lowered to the ground, rest your forehead down and slide your knees close together. We're going to prepare for our last 2 active back bends, opening the fronts of the shoulders. So spread your toes and try to press every toenail down into your mat. Keep the feet on the floor and interlace your fingers again behind your lower back or hold the strap. On your in-breath, coil your chest up, gently lifting your head, look slightly down, and you're now in bound locust pose for your count of 5 or more breaths before you let go to rest. If your lower back feels fine with it, you could lift your feet off the floor, keep the legs straight, and feet parallel. Otherwise, feet on the ground. Draw your shoulder heads back, broadening your chest and expanding the breath. Lengthen the back of your neck by looking slightly down. Relax the face. Shalabhasana, locust pose. When you're done, let your body completely rest on the floor. Sensing 3 deep breaths. All right, our last active back bend is bow pose, or take the same bound locust pose again on your own. You decide. Bow can feel a bit more rigorous. So bow is done by, again, sliding your knees close together, and this time bending your knees. Reach back with your hands to catch your inner or outer feet or ankles. Press your pubic bone into the ground as you kick your feet away from you, pulling your feet towards you, lifting your knees off the ground no wider apart than hips distance. Draw the shoulder heads back, look slightly down, and stay for 5 or more deep breaths in your last back bend. When you've let it go, let your body rest for 3 breaths. Plant your hands alongside your shoulders and press up to tabletop, hands and knees on the floor. Let's prepare for a spinal twist that will help to open up your upper back, tops and back of the shoulders. And that's thread the needle. So keep your left hand pressing the earth. Inhale, raise your right arm. Exhale, thread the right arm under your left bent elbow and lower the right side of your head all the way down, whether on the ground or on pillow or prop. Make sure your head is resting. Now try to level out your hips so you're not twisting at your hips, but instead you're twisting right under your rib cage, across your waistline. The shoulders relax away from your neck. Tune into another 4 deep breaths. When you're ready, press up, back to tabletop. And let's take the second side. Inhale, raise your left arm towards the sky. Exhale, thread it underneath your right bent elbow. Lower the left side of your head all the way down. Feel free to use a prop. Level out your hips, direct the twist at your waistline, and relax the shoulders back. 4 more deep breaths. This time, as you come out of thread the needle, let's meet in child's pose. Bring the inner edges of your feet together to touch. While in child's pose, I'll invite you, if it's comfortable for you, to bend your elbows and place them on the floor so they're framing your skull. Try to walk the elbows in close enough so they're not wider apart than your shoulders distance. And then bring your palms together in prayer position or fingertips touching. Trace your thumbs down the back of your neck towards your shoulder blades, and wrap your triceps or outer upper arms towards the floor so you're spreading the shoulder blades across the upper back as you draw the shoulders away from the neck. Let your chest sink, let your hips sink back. Tune into 4 more breaths. This time, I invite you to exhale out through the mouth, slower than you inhale. You might inhale for 5 counts and exhale for 7 counts, releasing some heat and inviting your nervous system to relax more deeply. When you feel ready to, slide your hands to the ground alongside your knees. Drop your chin towards your chest, and very slowly as you breathe in, roll your spine upright and slide your legs forward out in front of you. Let's prepare for a seated spinal twist. Extend your left leg forward and flex the foot. Step your right foot on the ground, either in front of your right hip or crossed outside of your left knee, in which you might also add bending the left knee. Choose the setup that allows you to evenly ground your two sitting bones and to sit tall with the shoulders relaxed. Then place your right hand on the floor behind your pelvis and raise your left arm. Press into the ground with every part of your body touching it. As you breathe in, sitting taller. Keep your pelvis still, and as you breathe out, rotate your ribcage to the right. Lower your left arm on your right leg, or hook the elbow outside the thigh, making sure the shoulders are relaxed. Your chin is parallel to the floor, and you're lifting through the back of your skull as you twist. One more long exhalation here. And then unwind. Let's set up in the same way if you can for side two. Extend the right leg forward, flex the foot. Step the left foot in front of your left hip or crossed outside of your right thigh, where you might also bend the right knee. Place your left hand behind your pelvis, right arm up, root down to rise up as you breathe in. Keep your pelvis still and twist to the left as you breathe out. Taking that breath by breath, hold your left leg with your right arm or hook the elbow outside of it. Inhale, root down to rise. Exhale, continue to twist. One more long exhalation here. And then unwind. Let's straighten both legs forward, preparing for a seated forward fold. You may like to use a strap around the balls of your feet as an extension of your arms here, if that allows you to relax your shoulders and keep your spine long and not rounded. Otherwise, you can walk the hands down the backs of your legs and maybe eventually clasp your big toes. So root your sitting bones and flex your feet, sitting up tall as you breathe in. Keep your throat open, making sure you're not hinging from the neck. Begin to hinge from your hips as you breathe out. On your inhales, root the pelvis down some more and lengthen the spine some more. On your exhales, fold if that's available to you to go deeper. 4 more breaths here in Paschimottanasana. Try to keep a slight lift in your chest, shoulders relaxed. Pressing down through your hips, breathe in and slowly rise from your chest at your heart. Please find a comfortable way to sit upright so that we can practice a calming breathing technique to prepare for Shavasana. And then later our 5 minutes in meditation. So you might find it helpful to sit up on a couple of blocks like this, side by side, or your folded blanket, so that if you're sitting cross-legged, your knees can comfortably release down. You can sit up tall. This is called alternate nostril breathing. It also helps to balance your energy as well as the right and left hemispheres of the brain, and helps to cultivate intuition. So as you're practicing, if you want to focus on that especially, you can close your eyes and direct your inner gaze towards your third eye center, which is the area of your pineal gland, the center of your brain. So rest your left hand on your lap. You might practice Gyan Mudra, which helps to focus inward more deeply. And that's bringing your thumb and first finger to touch with the palm face up on your lap. With your right hand, stick out your thumb, ring, and pinky fingers, and continue to breathe with your lips closed. So long but soft breaths through the nose. We're going to use your right thumb to close your right nostril like this. And then the ring and pinky will close the left nostril like this. Alternate nostril breathing. Nodi Shodhana Pranayama. Let's prepare to practice 3 cycles together and then continue 2 cycles on your own before you let go of controlling the breath. So sit up tall and relaxed and empty this breath. Right thumb, close right nostril, inhale through left. Hold your breath. Close left, exhale through right. Hold your breath. Inhale through right. Hold. Close right. Exhale through left. Hold. Cycle 2. Inhale left. Hold. Close left. Exhale right. Hold. Inhale right. Hold. Close right. Exhale left. Hold. Cycle 3. Inhale left. Hold. Close left. Exhale right. Hold. Inhale right. Hold. Close right. Exhale left. Hold. Continue 2 more cycles on your own. Take your time to finish at your own pace. When you do finish, let go of controlling your breath and notice anything that you feel. Now, as you breathe naturally, please start to lower your body entirely onto the ground, setting up in a comfortable resting position for Shavasana. If you have any tension in the lower back, you might bring ease to it by placing a rolled blanket or your 2 blocks underneath the backs of your knees like this. Let your feet splay apart wider than hips distance. Take the time to slide your shoulder blades down your back and turn the palms up, down by your sides to help relax the shoulders. And then close the eyes. Maybe place a towel over the eyes if that helps. allow your awareness to go deeper inward. We'll be here for a few minutes before sitting in meditation. Shavasana. Continue to rest here a little longer with your eyes closed. I invite you now to notice the sensations in your body again. Observe the effects of your yoga practice. Take your time, little by little, begin to move your body gently, slowly waking it up. Gradually turn over onto your right side and rest your head there for a few moments. Taking the time to notice your breathing just as it is. And how do you feel now, energetically? Does anything feel different since the start of this practice? Then take your time lifting your body up. Please find a comfortable way to sit tall, grounded, and relaxed. Preparing for 5 minutes in meditation. So again, you might place your hands in Gyan Mudra, thumb and first fingers touching, palms face up on your lap. And if it's comfortable for you, close your eyes, turn your inward gaze towards your brow center, or steady a gentle gaze just down in front of you. Let's begin. By allowing the breath to flow naturally, and very gently resting your awareness on the sensations of the breath, wherever you can feel the breath in your body. In this practice, I invite you to return to the sensations of the breath anytime your attention goes elsewhere. Like if you notice a sound happen or a thought arise and you start to follow the thought, once you notice you've gone away from the breath, there is your opportunity to gently come back to the breath, come back to the present moment. Let this be the practice. Be kind to yourself as you gently return to the breath anytime your attention is wandered. Remember non-judgment. Over time, as you've been able to rest your awareness longer onto your object of focus, such as the breath, you might start to sense a feeling of coming home to yourself, a deep calm, a feeling of fullness. The meditation practice is an opportunity to encounter our deepest selves. In yoga, this is described as Satnam, pure being within that knows it is connected to well-being, abundance. Living in the state of yoga is living in the state of gratitude. You might join your hands at your heart as we bring our practice to a close, noticing how your mind and heart feel now. How might you integrate any part of your practice off the mat, so to say, in your daily life to keep your practice alive? Sensing the ways that you are blessed and living in abundance can bring us into the practice of Asteya, that first limb of yoga. So recall your intention for this practice today, and remember to whom you dedicated it to. And let's just close like we started, chanting Om 3 times, chanting from the heart. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste.